here in Las Vegas doing another show here, talking about how people start their business and how they get involved to start seeing the success that they've always wanted to see in their life. This is going to be a great story. I got a little bit of background behind it. This is Justina Rose, and she has a wonderful story. She's worked with some of the top names out in the industry, but the coolest part about this is that it all started in what I considered my backyard of business, which is the health and wellness industry. Justina, welcome, and thank you for taking time to do this interview.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah. So listen, you're like the master at marketing funnels and really producing real business for companies, right? And you know, you've done so many different niches, but I want to talk about how you got started and talk about the wellness industry and what motivated you to go through these different steps. So you were telling me how you got started in some of the wellness stuff. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, it was funny. It was never any part of my plan to end up in marketing or the wellness space or anything like that. Like I had told you when we were getting to know each other a little bit earlier, the plan was to be a brain surgeon. But it ended up not being the path that I went down. I got my personal trainer certification and had met my first business partner very, very early on.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Brain surgeon
Yeah.
to personal trainer.
Yeah.
Okay, so like obviously, if you were thinking about being a brain surgeon, you got to be someone who's very smart. So, what happened there that you didn't become a brain surgeon?
Okay, so I got into every single college that I wanted to get into, but I had gotten emancipated going into my freshman year of high school. So I went to school out in Atlanta, Georgia, and when I graduated, my mom and dad wanted to reconnect and asked me to move back to Vegas. So I said, okay. They promised that they would pay for my school if I came out here because it was past the deadline for scholarships and stuff like that. So that was kind of the promise. I pack everything back up, move back to Vegas from Georgia, start school. 3 weeks in, the university says, like, hey, your tuition's not paid. You can't continue classes unless this gets paid. So I called my dad and I'm like, hey, the university needs tuition. And he said, oh, I thought you were going to take a gap year. And I was like, what part of graduating a year early, having this whole fast track plan to become a brain surgeon made you think I would want to take a gap year? So I'm 17 years old. I owe the university out of state tuition at this point because I have gone to classes already.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm not 18 yet, I can't get student loans. I can't get a credit card. I can't get anything. Nobody wants to co-sign for me. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Like, I owe the university like money. I've never had a job before. So I'm like, you know what? Like, why don't I go and get my personal trainer certification? I was like, I feel like I could get a job as a trainer pretty easily.
Were you like already like passionate about health and wellness when you decided that?
I grew up as a competitive dancer. So okay. I was always kind of doing some sort of activity like gymnastics or I did a lot of like aerial arts when I was younger too. So always super, super active. And that's kind of where I was like, I felt like I could probably get the hang of it and have a lot of fun doing it too while I figured out like how I was going to get back in school. So I was looking for a job as a personal trainer and I met my first business partner because he had the idea of posting job listings for trainers on Indeed that was actually for a sales position because he felt like if you were passionate about fitness, if you're a personal trainer, you can probably sell things, which I think he's pretty right about. And if it was selling fitness stuff, so it aligned with what it was. So I actually never physically trained anybody as a personal trainer, but I ended up getting to build a call center. We did kind of like the Hormozy model before people started to know who he was. We were partnering with independently owned gyms, primarily like CrossFit gyms, and hosting like these challenges on their behalf. So we were running ads telling people, hey, join our 6-week fitness challenge. And we'd call them, close them on this 6-week challenge, which was basically like a gym membership at a CrossFit gym. But I threw together a meal plan in Canva and said that they'd get a custom meal plan and like, you know, spiced it up, got them all excited about their weight loss goals and then passed them on to the gym owner. Wow. And it was really, really cool.
Who was making the phone calls? Was it you?
At first it was me. Yeah, at first it was me and
Okay.
my business partner, Brett.
Did you ever have any other personal trainers making phone calls also?
Oh yeah. So by the
Wow.
end of this, we had 2,200 gym partners across the US,
Okay.
and 30, like about 30, maybe 35 reps in this call center.
Amazing.
So it started out rinky-dink office right off the strip. Like when people would come in for interviews, because remember, this is not a personal trainer job. So they're already thinking that they're being interviewed for a personal trainer job, and they're walking into this like rinky-dink ghetto call center,
Right.
should I sit down? You know? So we did have a high churn rate because it was not necessarily like the most like, I don't know, normal company.
Right,
It was
right.
just two people who had a lot of ideas that like turned it into something, but we were actually helping people. Like that was the cool part of it. It was
Amazing.
like, it wasn't like we were just selling this and like making money. Like we actually started to build up like a Rolodex of like testimonials and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, how can we get more visibility? And I was like, well, what if we had like a famous athlete like endorse it? And so now we're making phone calls, and we end up getting Tommy Hackenberg, the 2-time CrossFit champion, to do a video sales letter for us.
Amazing.
And so now we're running ads like from the two-time CrossFit champion saying like, join this challenge. So now we're getting even more volume. People are filling. I was like, well, we should have them fill out a quiz. I'm just thinking about all these things, like as we're talking to these people, like how can we make it easier? I'm like, oh, not knowing that is marketing. Like I didn't know that was a video sales letter. I know that word now as a digital marketer, but when I said, oh, we should have an athlete do a video, I had no idea that was marketing.
Those are like very powerful assets to utilize in
Oh,
marketing,
for
right?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, huge. So it's funny that like I just kind of had a knack for it, and I like always had like the brain searching for scalability. How do I take this to the next level? And like I do that like in everything that I do. So I ended up doing NPC bikini fitness competitions, which I know we'll probably get to. But yeah, I found a supplement partner because I was like, how do we make more money? And it's a 6-week challenge. So these people have to rebill at least once on these supplements. And if you are using the right protein powder and creatine and like all of those supplements for 6 weeks, you're gonna feel amazing, even if you don't reach like that weight loss goal. Because there's a lot of people who are like, I want to lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks. And of course you're like, yeah, girl, like that might not happen, but here's your classes. But it was so cool to see the transformation that like started to all come together. And I was like, well, what if we got meal plans incorporated? So now I'm reaching out to meal provider services to see like how we can work this in. So what was a $300 challenge turned into a $1,200 package by the end of the call.
Wow.
And it was just something that I like continued to like piece things together. How do we make this better? How do we make this better? How do we make this better? And then I was like, why don't we have all of our challengers do a challenge here in Vegas so we can get content of the challenge and we can make it look the way we want. And so I just like accidentally learned marketing and sales because I thought that I was going to get a personal training job.
So accidentally, you use the word accidentally, and there's one thing I want to ask you, because a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing, there's a lot of strategy, right? As a marketer, do you consider yourself more of on the creative side, strategy side, branding side, or more of like customer acquisition side? Like, you know, in the world of marketing, I've dealt with a lot of different people. And I deal with people that are really good at branding, but heck, they cannot acquire one customer if their life depended on it. But then you have other people that are more on the strategy side, which are always thinking about new ways, developing different assets to utilize, or how to actually engage with the customer through different copywriting, right? In the different words you utilize. Like, where do you fall under? And I hope you don't say I'm the umbrella, right? Because you have to be a little bit involved, but what's like your main thing?
So I love copywriting. I am naturally a gifted copywriter, which is how everything else has been able to kind of come together. Because if the words aren't there, like you're not going to be able to connect in the same way with your target audience. But my agency specializes in everything from acquisition to retention. Okay. So I have a unique ability because of the number of business ventures that I was involved in. I went from that fitness company to starting a solar company to then working with a bunch of influencers and stuff and all sorts of different niches over the years. I'm able to look at a business as a whole and see, okay, you have good traffic but a bad funnel, that's why you're not performing. Okay, it's bad traffic but good funnel, there's some sales, how do we make that traffic better? Okay, good traffic, good funnel, but once they're there, why like people are dropping off or they're not buying your next, like why aren't they buying your next item like within your value ladder? It's like figuring that kind of stuff. And then okay, so they really enjoyed this. They made you a testimonial. How can we get them to buy more from you? Like,
Right.
it's, how do you make it an entire ecosystem that like never dies? Because I work with a lot of coaches and course creators and like mentors kind of thing. And so I genuinely believe that if you have somebody who comes to you for that type of knowledge that you are an expert in, you are doing them a disservice if they feel like they ever need to go to anybody else in that niche. Like, how would you feel if somebody came to you, you did all of this time and energy into some health plan, and then a week later they go and find somebody else? Like, that makes me so upset. It's like, where is the hole within that ecosystem that led to that happening? Because the whole idea behind marketing is like building your tribe and like making connections and like having products that impact people. So how do you like increase the longevity of that impact and just create like a full circle? So people will come to me from everything from acquisition to funnel building to even like, okay, how do we automate onboarding? How do we engage our Facebook group or our school group more? How do we incorporate a higher ticket item into our value ladder? Like, all sorts of stuff like that. So each project is very unique because every business is in a different place.
And these are all things like when you were talking about, it's like, it's not just new customer acquisition, but it's also the retention side.
Yeah.
So you could have a good LTV, that lifetime value
Exactly.
of that customer, which is amazing to hear other people talk about that, because sometimes we get so focused on just new customer acquisition, and there's more to that. So,
well, your cost per acquisition doesn't matter as much when you can increase the average order value, you know? So if you constantly have people like climbing up that value ladder, like you can pay more for a lead, and then you can really get like analytical with what a dollar is really worth in ad spend and what a dollar is really worth like in the scheme of your business. It's, I don't know, it's, I'm obsessed with it.
So I would only imagine by hearing you say what you're saying is that data is extremely important throughout this entire process.
Yeah.
From the first penny that you spend on, even if it's an omnipresence campaign or if it's actual like lead gen campaign, you're tracking from every single dollar all the way to not just that new customer acquisition, but all the way to 6 months, 9 months, 12 months of the lifetime value of that customer, right?
Yeah, and just all of their history too, like incorporating different trigger links into emails, like how much are they engaging with your content, and creating like engagement scores for those leads. Like, so, okay, if somebody's liking every single one of your posts on Instagram and they're opening all of your emails and they're clicking the links in your emails, like that is a high quality person.
Right.
Like they are subconsciously begging for you to reach out to them. So if they've opened all your emails, you either need to email them about something or call them yourself because they want to buy more from you. So it's like seeing what's going on with those, even if they didn't buy the first time, what are they doing? Are they continuing to click? Are they engaging with those retargeting ads? It's like, I don't know, I'm obsessed with the whole picture of it. I think that if I was in just one area, I would be bored.
So have you created like specific dashboards for you to take a lot of that quantifiable data and utilize it, analyze it, and then, you know, further use it with retargeting
absolutely.
or whatever it is?
Yeah, every business is a little bit different, but I primarily use a platform called Go High Level, which is a really super cool all-in-one CRM tool, and they have a customizable dashboard, and they have like a pipeline phase and stuff. So we'll report like the different the phases. Okay, how many leads are in this stage versus this stage, and what is the duration from lead in to sale if it's high ticket? Like, is there a period of time between like entry point in the funnel to close if there's calls? Like, there's so many different elements, and it's different for every offer based off of like that customer journey. And like, I think that's what fascinates me the most is the customer journey and like the levels of awareness.
Right.
Like, how do you meet each person that sees your ad exactly where they're at and like grab their hand and bring them to the realization that your offer is the only offer they need?
So you mentioned Go High Level,
Yeah.
right, as a CRM. So is that the only CRM that you utilize? You use HubSpot, Salesforce, any of those other ones?
So I've done a couple different CRMs before. I've used HubSpot. I've used NetSuite. When I was in Solar, I used NetSuite a lot. I am a big ClickFunnels and ClickFunnels 2.0 fan. I'm really excited for ClickFunnels to keep developing to have more features, because like ClickFunnels has my heart on such a deep level. Like, everything that I am is because what I learned from Russell Brunson. Like, I say that from the bottom of my heart. So I'm so excited for them to grow as a company, like in terms of like innovation for the things that High Level offers. Because I do a lot of automation stuff. Like I would call myself an automation engineer.
That's like a must in marketing. Even with all of your automated emails where you build out your workflows and all of that stuff, automation is it. If not, I mean, it becomes such a manual intensive process to just put people through that whole sales funnel, right?
Right. But it goes beyond that too. Like there are obviously the main things like the contact points, but say you're working with a company that has inventory. Like for example, I worked with a pool fencing company. We had to monitor like when we got to a certain point of, okay, we have 25 linear feet of this color left. Like how can we create a notification in the system that we need to order more? And when a quote was submitted, I would have it generate a work order. And if it cross-referenced the numbers in the system to see, okay, this number is less than this number, we need to place an order. So it's like, it's not just the communication. It's like,
that's crazy.
It's crazy levels of automation.
Let me ask you something about that, because, you know, in my business, we use a lot of different platforms. I'm in the medical field. So right, we have EMR. Right, the electronic medical records, which is also our point of sale system.
Okay.
But our point of sale system is also our inventory management system. But then we utilize HubSpot, you know, for our CRM. But then we have multiple other different platforms. So for us to be able to get that data, there's a lot of integrations to the backend APIs for that to work, and that's not an easy process. That takes sometimes even years of building stuff out.
Yeah. And it gets frustrating too. And I think that's why High Level is such a powerful tool now, because what took advanced dev work, now you don't need as much of it because there's so many native integrations, or you can use like a middleman like Zapier that integrates with High Level and that other like software that you need to talk with each other. But like if I need to build an API, I can build an API. Like we have done all sorts of crazy stuff. Like I love innovation. I love hearing about people's business models and the way they need to work and like how to make it happen. Like, okay, how many people do you want to fire? Kind of like in the most gentle, sweet way. I hope like, I don't want people to lose their jobs, but also like your job is not necessary kind of thing.
Especially in today's world with the power of AI. Right?
Yeah.
Like how much are you using AI?
Oh, every single day. Yeah, every single day I've created, so anytime I do something, I document it. And I use AI to help me create SOPs for the scalability of my team. Right. Because being one person, you can make a decent amount of money as a single person, but I've been blessed enough to have scaled to an operation of 10 at this point. And they have to know what to do when I'm on calls or I'm on podcasts or I'm on whatever. Where can they go to reference how to do something? And so from discovery all the way to testing and launch, I have documents on like even the prompts - ChatGPT. If I'm not available to do copywriting, okay, if I ask you to go and do a video sales letter script, I have the prompts for each part. Like I know as a marketer the anatomy of a video sales letter. So I've created a prompt for each piece of the anatomy that we take an avatar worksheet, which is something that we have the client fill out. We take an avatar worksheet and the tonality worksheet, and that is part of discovery. We give that to ChatGPT, and now you have these prompts that I developed based off of the anatomy of things. And now somebody who doesn't have as much experience can piece together a sales script, and then I can look at it and tweak it and make it the final.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've spent a lot of time fine-tuning and creating like foolproof sequences, like to the point where I usually have about 200 pages of copy before I actually start building anything for a client.
So when do you sleep? No, you know, I'm serious when I say that, because I don't sleep much. I literally sleep like 4 hours a night. I don't wake up to an alarm clock, but you know, for me, a lot of the things that you're talking about, I've always envisioned it and thought about it, and you know, the execution part of it for me has been difficult because I'm so busy doing so many other things. But like the prompting with AI is everything, and if you can kind of create that skeleton, if you will, it at that point it starts to become a plug and play.
Yeah.
You know, and the automation and everything doesn't.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful with it. There's a certain novelty to AI right now, and I think it's a really powerful tool when you actually are an expert on something. Right. Because if just a regular person went and was like, "Hey, write me a video sales letter script for my offer," it would be okay, you know. Right. But as a marketer, I'm able to look at that and improve it. anytime I create a piece of content, I will tell chat, I'm like, where are the holes in this? It'll be
Mm.
like, oh, you could be stronger here, here, and here. It'll be like, oh, true, I could put more sensory
Right.
anchoring here. Let me add sensory anchoring. And then I never have chat write things for me. I just ask chat to tell me what I did wrong. And then I go and I fix it and I fix it and I fix it until chat's like, no, that's pretty bulletproof.
Wow. That's
And then I'm
amazing.
like, okay, let's create a split test. So how do we start over? And
And when you say split test, like you're doing like an A/B test?
yeah, like an
Okay.
A/B test. Okay, so now here's the bulletproof version that we have worked through all of my prompts and like my knowledge on anatomy and things like that. Okay, how does another campaign work? Because I know that I'm not right about everything. There's not one way to do everything. So,
Right.
okay, let's create another version of this. Let's see what performs better. Let's see what gets more clicks. And then it's constantly just, okay, we have enough data to run a new split test. Okay, let's kill this one. Let's watch this one. Kill this one. Watch this one. I actually didn't split test it much until I met my best friend who does my ads. He is a very big, okay, we have enough data to run a split. I'm like, oh, but it's doing good. He's like, nope, it's time to run a split. I'm like, okay. So it's actually challenged me a little bit more to, even if something's performing, look and see, okay, how can I
Because
make
they
it
could potentially perform
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, wow, 25% opt-in rate. That's solid. And I remember,
Yeah.
this is crazy. This is like, it does not have it. We had a 25% opt-in rate, which was really good. But then we went to a 90% opt-in rate. That's like absolutely unheard of. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is why you split test. This is why you split test. Because I thought 25% was good. The funnel was doing great. 90% opt-in rate, that is like, I took a screenshot and I sent it to my assistant. And I was like, did you see this? She was
Wow.
like, what funnel is that? Are you selling dope? And I was like, no. So I don't know, it's cool. Those are like my little moments of joy to like look and see, wow, this thing that I created, because I actually hate numbers. I hate numbers, but I love the feeling of, wow, what I put my heart into is working.
Right, right. That is an amazing feeling. And it's almost like everyone in business is always trying to crack that code.
Yeah.
And when you know that you're that person who can crack that code for them, it's an amazing feeling. You know, it's
Yeah.
very rewarding. So let me ask you this. How important is storytelling with what you do?
Oh, storytelling is everything. Like you have to, the best people, the people who make the most money online are the ones that have a tribe. If you like, the way that you build a tribe is having people connect with who you are and what your story is. Like, yeah, you can sell a product that's just okay, here's the benefits A, B, and C, but unless you like really, really love that product, like there's nothing really holding you to that. Where if you give something for people to believe in, like you create an identity behind it almost, like that's where it becomes like your cult like following almost. Like marketing is honestly like ethical manipulation. Like how do you connect with people? And that's why I like to work with people who have like real products that they care about,
Right.
is because that ethical manipulation can be used for good.
It's the whole psychological portion of
Right.
it, right?
But yeah, people want to find somebody that makes them feel like they can do it too.
Right.
And they're never going to feel like they can do it too if they didn't hear some sort of story. Like you could tell me, oh yeah, I did that. Okay. I'm not going to leave that room feeling super inspired and like want to go do, like if you were like, oh yeah, I did a bodybuilding show, I'd be like, wow, that's really impressive. Would that inspire me to go and do a bodybuilding show? Probably not. But if you were like, oh my gosh, this is how my prep went, 16 weeks. This is what my macros started at. I didn't know that I could eat that much. You know, that whole thing, I'm talking about preps because we've both done them, you know, but that's the difference. Like telling somebody about the excitement of like this journey.
The journey.
Week 16, peak week, I'm dehydrated. I look like Aunt Jemima, like with my tan and like, I like all this crazy, like, you know, that's when people are like, oh my gosh. You get the questions like, why do you have to wear a tan like that for a show? Oh, well, it's because muscle striations. And like, see, they're bought into the story now. But if it was just like, yeah, I did a bodybuilding show, people would be like, oh, that's cool.
The thing. Now people are engaged, right? And that's the power of marketing. It's getting people engaged into what you're doing. And that's storytelling. Exactly how you said. Now people are asking you the questions, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. What would you say is your number one book when it comes to marketing?
I think that anybody who reads the Russell Brunson trilogy will be so powerful. So he has a trilogy series. There's .com secrets, expert secrets, and traffic secrets. That is the core of everything I do. Jim Edwards has a book called Copywriting Secrets. So if you read those 4 books, like if you actually read them, there's no reason you can't make billions of dollars. There's absolutely zero reason. If you read the trilogy, especially Expert Secrets, like Expert Secrets is the book that really changed my mentality on marketing. Amazing.
Have you read the book For the Culture?
No, who's it by?
That's Marcus Collins.
Okay.
So Marcus Collins, he's got a PhD in marketing.
Okay.
He's taught in the business school of Harvard. He was Jay-Z's and Beyonce's digital strategist for over a decade. So it's been my #1 book in marketing, and it's just literally changed my life. He's really big into storytelling. Like he's helped companies like McDonald's, Sprites, Peloton get out of a lot of.
I'll have to check it out. I'm in the Climb program at Harvard right now.
Oh, nice.
So just trying to learn more about like the business systems and stuff. And so I've done a couple classes in like leadership and ethics and stuff, because I started just like freelancing, building funnels, and I was like, okay, I need a bigger team. And then I didn't know how to run a bigger team, so I was like, Harvard.
No, that's amazing, and it's an easy read. Right.
Okay.
I'm actually going to bring him on my podcast, I think next month actually. And he has the audio. What I like about it, it's his voice. He actually narrates his own book. And it's by far, you'll love it. It's a book that you have to, and I'm gonna actually check out the ones that you're talking about. So as we wrap up here, Justina, if there's someone who's listening to what we're talking about, right, and they resonate with everything that we talked about, regardless if it's marketing, putting themselves through this discipline, or any of that, what's one thing that you can leave these people with?
I would say go down the rabbit hole. Like, don't limit yourself. There is an answer out there, especially with AI. Like, have a full-on conversation with ChatGPT if you were too embarrassed to actually ask somebody about it. Build the business, start the fitness journey, like whatever it is. Like, you have so many resources now, and like they're unlimited. So I don't know, I just think that we are in a place now that there's so much more opportunity, and I don't know, I can't imagine being at a physical job ever again. Like there's so much amazing like freedom and being able to do what I do, and like I don't know how to describe that feeling other than like telling somebody go, like build a business. Everybody has thought about building a business at one point, but like now we have AI and we have all of these resources and stuff that make it so easy. Like go down the rabbit hole, like teach yourself, figure it out. And there's people that can like coach you and guide you further, but like fixate on it and just do it, you know?
I love that. Just how Nike says, right? Just do it. And that's the thing, guys. It's going down that rabbit hole. You can't allow a speed bump in the middle of the road stop you. You heard it from Justina here. She was supposed to go and become a brain surgeon, right? And then that speed bump hit where she didn't have the money for the tuition, and it kind of just literally shift what her life was supposed to go and the trajectory that it was supposed to go. And look at how she took that and made the best out of it, where now she's flourishing and changing lives for the good. So Justina, where can people find you?
I am at Justina's World on Instagram.
Justina's World. Awesome. And you'll see all the links here and stuff. So make sure you guys give her a follow. Check out what she's doing. And if you want to enhance your marketing funnels, you know where to go.